What's up everybody and welcome back to more Mods Monthly. Basically this is a series where we go back through the months and look at some of the best mods that came out for Fallout 4. You guys gave me a ton of support on the pilot episode of this series, so I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all of you for that. This time we're looking at July, which was a huge month for mods, so we have a lot of really well made mods coming out then. After this episode I'm going to start doing some of the older ones, so next we should probably see January and then I'll work through to February, March, etc. After that, obviously, we'll start going again, doing August, September, and October as those months do conclude, and we get a ton more cool mods that way. With all that being said, if you enjoyed the series, I encourage you guys to consider subscribing, but with that, let's get right into it. So the first mod on this month's Mods Monthly is Live Dismemberment. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Bloody Mess perk. Basically, it'll allow you to explode your enemies and, just in general, help you to blow off certain limbs while in combat as a finisher. Live Dismemberment takes that to the next level. You can now blow off enemies' limbs in real time during combat. It's not going to instantly kill them, so you could take out somebody's legs or arms and cripple them that way. This mod is hugely effective against legendary enemies and just really stronger foes. If you really focus down one of their arms, you could render them almost useless, making the fight much easier for you. All around, this is a really creative and unique mod. It made the game a ton more fun to play and changed something so simply but totally changed the way you play Fallout 4 and made it an entirely different experience. The M1870 Gasser Revolver. This added in a very unique and cool revolver to the game. Being from the 1800s, the revolver itself totally encapsulated that old-timey feel and added it into Fallout 4. Between the animations, textures, and sound of the revolver, it is an amazingly well done weapon mod. This one actually also adds in its own ammo type, so you get these custom 11.25mm bullets that you have to craft in order to fire the weapon. If all of that wasn't enough, the gun is also really well balanced. It's not stupidly overpowered and fares pretty well against the 44. The Crude Willow Bag is a little bit of a different weapon mod. It looks amazing, sounds great, and adds a good amount of customizability to the game, but a lot of weapon mods do that. What really makes this one stand out is it's actually one of the weapons from the Fallout 4 concept art that never made it to the final game. This mod author took that concept art, designed the weapon, modeled it, textured it, and now here we have it in Fallout 4. The gun itself is a ton of fun. Obviously, being from the original designers, it does fit in really well. And although it is kind of from the original concept art, it does feel unique in its own sense. It's unlike many of the other weapons in the game, although still giving you that kind of thrown together and crudely made look. All around, this is a really well balanced and well made weapon mod, regardless of where it came from, and I definitely recommend you guys download it. The Space Marine. This mod adds in the iconic Space Marine armor from the Warhammer 40k series. It adds it into Fallout 4 as a separate power armor, as well as it adds in 2 unique weapons to the game. When this mod came out originally, it rushed to the top of the featured mods list on Nexus. Unfortunately, shortly thereafter it was taken down. This was due to using some sound files from other Warhammer 40k games on the weapons. Sound files fixed, about 2 to 3 weeks later it did come back up, but a lot of people totally forgot about it at that point. For this reason, it didn't get as many downloads as some of the other power armor mods out there, even though it was still very high quality and did look really nice. Fortunately, it seems to have catched up now, as well as we're still getting some updates on some new paint jobs and some stuff like that. It's a very cool mod, definitely not one of the stronger power armor mods out there, as I do feel it looks a little cartoony and too large for Fallout 4, but if you're a fan of the 40k universe, this is definitely a must download for you. The Batman Beyond armor. This would technically be the Batman Beyond and Batgirl armor, because it technically does add in a totally different girl variant of the Batman armor. Nonetheless, both of them look absolutely amazing. This is actually part of a weird trend we've seen in the modding scene. Basically, Bethesda.net's moderation is basically non-existent, unless it's a nude mod or blatantly illegal, although I guess this kind of falls into the former category. This is an armor mod that's directly ripped from the Arkham series of games, and it won't be uploaded to Nexus as a result, because it'd be removed on Nexus because it's stealing someone else's work. On Bethesda.net, a lot of mod authors have found that they're not taking down these types of mods, so we've seen a sprawling community of young mod authors uploading tons of ripped assets to that website. A lot of these guys don't really know much about modding, as they don't really create their own content. Fortunately, this guy does know a thing or two, so this armor does work as intended. Although being ripped, it does look absolutely amazing. The details are really sharp and everything flows well in Fallout 4. The morality of using an armor like this is kind of questionable, but it's a cool armor mod nonetheless, especially if you want to play as Batman. Workshop Synth Production. Basically, this mod adds in an entire facility and system for creating synths. You go through a whole process of setting it all up and attaching some of the different terminals, and then once that's all done, you put in the required materials and out pops synths. You could set this to a production cycle, so it'll just produce them constantly until it runs out of materials or just one at a time. If that wasn't enough, it also adds in a device for cloning other NPCs. So personally, I ran up to Preston, cloned him, and then made a synth Preston army. Once these guys pop out, they'll be settlers, so you could take them on your settlement or move them around wherever you want. It's actually a really good way to populate a settlement really quickly if you have the supplies. This definitely turned out to be one of the coolest and most unique mods that came out of July, even just in general. It still is a very original idea and no one's made anything like this to date. With that being said, I would have really loved to see some additional features from this mod, like even creating some kind of animals. I think that would be really cool, like creating ghoul synths or creating deathclaw synths and stuff like that, using the same functionality as this original production, but expanding it slightly. Before Doom-based weapons merged was released, it was hard to recommend the weapons as a whole. Like, hey, go download these 9 separate weapon mods. Fortunately, with the release of it as a pack, I can recommend it wholeheartedly. Doom-based weapons merged is one of the best weapon packs out there. In my opinion, it is actually the best weapon pack out there. They have a lot of cool customizability options, they are balanced, and there's just a lot of cool features you'll find after playing with the mod a little bit. I think it is far superior to things like modern firearms and some of the other weapon mods out there. And all around, in my opinion, it's a must download for Fallout 4. Although unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's being updated very regularly. Doom did just release a brand new weapon, a Glock P80, which is absolutely fun, balanced, and falls into all the other good things I did say about him prior. This came out about a week ago, and yet it's not added into Doom-based weapons merged yet. This kind of creates a weird dynamic where it's like, alright, so I'm going to go download Doom-based weapons merged and his new weapon mod. How long is this going to go on for? Is it going to be added in a few weeks or later down the line in a bigger update? We don't know yet, but I guess time will tell. CWSS Redux, adding in workable showers and toilets into the game. This is a crazy mod and one I just really didn't think we'd see. Basically, as I did just say, it does add in baths, showers, sinks, toilets to the game. These are all fully animated and fully functional with water coming out and everything, and some cool sound effects to go along with it. And even that extra added detail, you can create private showers and bathrooms so your regular settlers won't begin to use them. Definitely a very interesting and unique mod. Since its release, we've gotten a few minor updates, but it really was super polished on release, so there's not too much to ask from it, as well as we did get an outhouse, which is pretty freaking cool if I do say so myself. The 10mm Revolver, or the Colt 6520. This is the revolver from the first 2 parts of the Fallout series, so for those of you who played this, I'm sure it has a huge nostalgia factor. But in regular Fallout 4, it is just a really cool weapon mod. You can instantly tell it is very reminiscent of the regular 10mm pistol, so you kind of have that, alright, this is a cool little modification of it, although it is a totally standalone weapon. The gun itself does look and feel amazing. It does reuse some sounds from other revolvers in the game, so that would be a cool area for growth in the future, although I don't think we'll see that. It's a cool gun mod and definitely one of the better ones out there, although it's had no updates since its release and doesn't have all that much in the way of attachments. So take it or leave it. It's not the best one out there, but it's definitely a pretty good one. Raider Children. So this is a really weird mod and not one I thought I would like initially. Basically, in the lore of Fallout 4, the raiders would capture children from various settlements and just establishments and make them their prisoners and basically serve for them. Think African Taliban, where the children are using guns but don't really know what's going on. Actually playing the mod, it was kind of weird to kill children. You heard their screams and they still had children voices, so it was a really weird and eerie feel. It definitely made me feel very uncomfortable, which seems like the intended use. It made the game feel a little bit more gritty and dark, which I feel like Fallout 4 was really lacking. Since its initial release, this mod has actually got a ton of updates. It's starting to add in a whole new system to the game. So an orphanage was implemented and children will flee to the orphanage and you could actually save them from there, as well as a ton of new variations of different raider children. All around, it's a very cool mod and definitely one I recommend downloading if you want that kind of thing. It's a particular type of mod, so it's not for everyone, but if you want a gritty, dark feel and don't mind killing children, or you do mind killing children but you think it adds to the lore, definitely take this one up. the Submersible power armor. So this is actually my favorite power armor mod flat out. There's about 3 reasons I really like this. 1, it looks and feels really good. It fits into Fallout 4 well because of Far Harbor, even though it's BioShock inspired, as you can totally tell by just looking at the armor. The second reason is the way you get it. You're going to go to different lighthouses and some of the different coasts added on the map to find the armor, which feels very fitting for a Submersible power armor. A lot of other power armor mods just plop their power armor down in some random place and it's like, alright, go there and go find it. I like how this one definitely has some thought involved in how you get it, and some of these places actually do have some tougher enemies, so it's a minor challenge to get the armor. Last but not least, it added in a fucking drill weapon to the game. So as you use the armor now, you'll have this massive drill on your arm if you equip the weapon, and it looks absolutely amazing. It flows with the armor so well, and it definitely makes this stand out as one of the better armor mods right now, or in my opinion, the best one. Stingray Air Support added in a very cool and unique way of blowing shit up. Basically, you had to go to this facility and there you'll get these grenades and the ability to create those grenades. Once you throw one of these down, you'll have a few options of different bomb types, and then once you select one, a few seconds later a jet will fly over and drop the corresponding bomb. This mod was really cool and had a ton of unique options for it, including changing the altitude, the speed, and of course all the different bombs you did have access to. Unfortunately, since its release, it really hasn't gotten any updates. I would have loved to see some more bomb types added to the game, as well as a more balanced way to get them. Right now, they're relatively cheap, just made at the chemistry station, which felt a little bit broken for the power they potentially provided in combat. All around, still one of the more unique and cool mods that have come out for Fallout 4. So I just made a video about the best sniper rifles in Fallout 4. This was in that video. Actually, I'll take it a step further. This was number 1 in that video. The DKS 501 adds in the iconic sniper rifle from the past 2 Fallout games into Fallout 4. It adds in all the weapon customizability to recreate how it appeared in those games, as well as some additional customizability to really make it what you want. I really like this mod because it fully embraces the Fallout 4 weapon mod system. You can really make this a lot of different guns, from a weird 50 caliber shotgun to a hardcore long-range rifle. The gun itself looks amazing, the damage is really well balanced, and frankly, I don't feel like Fallout 4 has good snipers. This is a good sniper, and it really served as my one mod replacement for all the snipers in the game right now. If you're a marksman character, or want your companion to be a marksman character, or just want to see other marksman characters in the game, I definitely recommend you check this mod out. One of the best mods for Fallout 4, period, which it may have appeared in a video I made about that kind of stuff also, and definitely one of my all-time favorites. Alien ELVIS is one of the most entertaining companion mods I've seen thus far. Basically, what it adds in is a mashup between an alien and ELVIS. It does have a ton of custom voice lines added to it, which really give you a personable and nice feel, ranging from songs to witty remarks. As a companion himself, he is pretty powerful and does always have those cool remarks in combat. All around, it's just a really cool and unique mod. A lot of the other companion mods just add in a pretty girl or a robot. This one, Alien ELVIS, is a little bit more unique and in my opinion, quite a bit more fun. So last but not least, we do have Liberty Power Armor. This is a really cool power armor mod, definitely not as cool as something like the Submersible power armor, but cool in its own way. Basically, the lore behind it is, this was made first before Liberty Prime, but they couldn't find people to actually put in the power armor, and it was made not that practical, so they went on to build Liberty Prime. Now we have this as a relic in Fallout 4 after the bombs drop, and basically you're going to have to go through the Sentinel site nuke storage, which is very fitting for the lore, and find the armor. I actually really like this, because in order to get the armor, you're going to have to have completed a quest for the Brotherhood of Steel, or at least be in progress on it. This will open the doors that reveal the way to the armor. A lot of power armor mods just throw the armor in your face and don't really add a challenge into getting it, which isn't practical when actually playing Fallout 4. It's only practical when checking out a mod for 5 minutes. This armor has seen a lot of updates since its release, adding in a ton of different texture options and headlamp options, and something really cool this mod author has done is for console users. Since he knows a lot of console users are using that 2 GB of space relatively quickly, he made multiple versions of his mod. Basically, the one version includes everything, so you'll have all the different textures and everything like that, but since texture files are relatively large files, he also did make standalone versions only using one texture at a time. So we'll add in the power armor and just the enclave texture, so you don't have all those old redundant textures that are going to take up a lot of file size. This is a really cool thing for a mod author to do because it definitely took quite a bit of time to upload and make all those individual files, so I think as console users we should give a shout out to him. But with that, that's going to conclude this month's Mods Monthly. Next up should be January, so look forward to that. It should be coming in the next week or so. As always, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. But with that, I'll see you all next time. Later.